Hello there, Chair, committee members, and members of the public. I am Tatiana Arnaud. I am your city engineer, and I'm here to present the final batch of agreements for on-call professional engineering services. So the recommendation today is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute the following on-call professional engineering agreements. The first being Agreement A-8432 with Hewitt Dollars Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $250,000 for a 3-year term. The second, Agreement A-8399 with Brown and Caldwell in the amount not to exceed $750,000 for a 3-year term. Number 3, Agreement A-8410 with Dudek in the amount not to exceed $1 million for a 3-year term. Number 4, Agreement A-8415 with AECOM Technical Services Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. Number 5, Agreement A-8417 with Hammer, Jewell and Associates in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. Number 6, Agreement A-8435 with Keir and Wright Civil Engineers and Surveyors Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. Number 7, Agreement A-8423 with Wallace Group in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. Number 8, Agreement A-8416 with Pacific Coast Land Design Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1 million for a 3-year term. Number 9, Agreement A-8419 with KTU&A in the amount not to exceed $1 million for a 3-year term. Number 10, Agreement A-8420 with Cumming Management Group Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $750,000 for a 3-year term. Number 11, Agreement A-8424 with CSG Consultants Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. And finally, number 12, Agreement A-8421 with TransTech Engineers Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a 3-year term. So why do we do this? The reason that we are soliciting these proposals is that we have a tremendous CIP that is funded right now, and we need these specialized services to be able to execute that in an effective and efficient manner. And so we did solicit proposals for various engineering services, and what we're bringing forward to you today include roadway and structures engineering, utility engineering, real property services, surveying, geotechnical engineering, material and laboratory testing, drainage hydrology and hydraulic engineering, landscape architecture and park design, labor compliance, as well as development plan check. And so again, we really need this because not just staff levels that are sufficient in the engineering division to execute such a massive CIP, but also there's a lot of specialized needs that we need for each of these various projects. For instance, we don't have a licensed geotechnical engineer on staff, and so we really need to bring in those experts through our consultant on-calls to assist us with that sort of work. Likewise with surveying, and we also have, for instance, development plan check, where at this point, the amount of plan check submittals that are coming in exceed the capacity of staff. And so we rely on these on-calls to be able to keep those things moving forward in a timely manner. And so what we did was we established a panel that consisted of several city staff members across multiple departments throughout the city. And we selected each of those members as subject matter experts to evaluate those respective proposals. And so out of all of the firms that submitted, we ended up selecting 33 that passed and met our criteria from the RFP. So at this time, we're bringing forward all of these services. And again, I won't go through every single one in detail, but here in this chart, you'll see what the consultant is, the term, the amount, and the scope of services that come with that consultant's contract. Again, here's the final 5. And so just so that everybody understands, these contracts are not actually necessarily going to be expended to their full amount. So I know that we're bringing forward obviously large amounts, large dollar amounts in these contracts. These will essentially be assigned on a task order basis for any project and operational needs, and it depends on the budget availability. So basically what we're doing is we're making sure that we have consultants that are ready to go when we have the funding and we're ready to go as well, right? And so just because we're bringing forward, let's say $1 million contract doesn't mean that we're immediately going to give this firm $1 million worth of work. Over the next 3 years, we're giving ourselves the capacity to do that should we need it based on what the budget availability is and what the CIP approvals look like. And so for each of these, we'll get a cost proposal before assigning the task order, and it'll be at the contractual rates. And we'll still process each task order, and it'll be approved per current city standard practices. So there's still checks and balances process here, even though it's an on-call, and you won't necessarily see each of these coming forward to you at council. It's just to help us expedite, again, this massive CIP that we have. That does conclude this presentation. I thank you for your time. I'm happy to take any questions.